Okay. Good evening. This is a special meeting of the, well, do you have this right?
Yeah, Charter Revision Commission.
Yeah.
No, I know that part, but, okay. Special meeting of the Charter Revision Commission and call the roll call, please. Or we should go do the pledge afterwards, okay. Sometimes it's one way, sometimes the other.
Okay. Commissioner Borup? Here. Commissioner Capello?
Here.
Commissioner Gonzalez?
Present.
Commissioner Minor? Commissioner Minor? He is there. And Chairman Harvey,
Here,
you have a full quorum.
give a stand for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. We just closed our public hearing, but we have now another public participation period. Any member of the public wishing to speak solely on the items that the commission is recommending onto the town council, please raise your hand if you'd like to participate. If you're calling to a Zoom meeting by telephone, dial *6 to raise your hand, be recognized, use *6 when recognized to speak by telephone, state your name and address for the record, please.
Yeah, *9 and *6.
*9, I'm sorry.
We know I heard down the road.
We have nobody online with us. We do have one attendee in the room.
Okay,
Anything else?
so nobody else on there, is that correct?
Nope, nobody else online with us.
Comments by commissioners? Okay, hearing and review of public comments from the public hearing. Submission of proposed charter amendments to the town clerk. At this stage, we'll be considering sending or directing the town clerk to submit the proposed charter amendments onto the council from your office.
You jumped over one item, sir.
Did I?
You did. Discussion of charter language revisions. If we had any from the public hearing.
I did ask for that, but nobody said anything.
Oh, okay. I missed that.
I
Sorry.
could ask again if you like. I'm tired, but not quite.
Well, I'd like to just have us readdress sections 410 and 411 based upon the handout that I just passed out to everybody. I'll have that up on the screen in just a moment here. We had a discussion a few meetings back on the language for proposing a ordinance or proposal to the council. And we made some significant changes in the draft language. Lost my line there. And I believe we may have lost some specifics that we do need to keep in mind.
Do you have those specifics?
I do have those online currently. So at this point, if inside of your current charter, if you were to look at section 410. What we ended up doing, I didn't realize at the time that we were discussing the language, we actually sort of created a hybrid format of proposed petition to the council, but created a town meeting format. Specifically with the last bit of language where we call the call of the meeting of the council shall state the proposed ordinance in full and shall provide a yes or no as an enactment. And the majority of persons entitled to vote at such meeting shall vote yes, and then the ordinance shall take effect.
Right.
We don't do a town meeting format in the town of Newington, so we would need to just readdress that language just to meet our referendum requirements.
Okay. And everything else you're comfortable with?
The other pieces of it will work, yes.
Okay.
But we do need to address that piece, and we need to discuss whether or not we want to have any appropriation amounts added into that.
Well, I
piece.
will tell you, the 375 was recommended by Ms. Murphy to retain. And I didn't hear any thing at the time she discussed that, opposing that idea.
Okay. So,
But that's something the council could easily change and make modification to, and we can discuss that with the council when we go up. But that was a recommendation from the finance director not to disturb that amount. That was her base amount because she does smaller notes underneath that.
Correct.
And for her own record keeping purposes, she didn't want that diluted in any fashion.
right.
So
The
what-
language we had in the proposal
Right.
was to remove the entire section.
Yeah.
That was why there was a little bit of a disconnect between
Right,
the two
right.
pieces.
So
I'll readdress that
Okay.
language.
that'd be fine.
We do have, and this will be the decision of the commission this evening. Do we want to hold off? Let me clean this language back up and present it back to the commission on our 21st meeting, or do we
Well,
want to
we
move
gotta get
forward?
this off to the council. I mean, if you're,
We could still get it to the council for the 28th meeting, which would still meet the
Yeah.
June 5th deadline.
I think if there was something other than just a replugging of the other language, I'd be concerned about it, but there doesn't seem to be. Other than we cleared up a lot of the dates that you were, or the clerk was drowning with in the old language.
Right.
I mean, That was,
The
that
10
was an
days.
abomination. That, I don't know how that survived the last.
We didn't have a lot of
charter.
petitions.
But, yeah, I would recommend the commission that we could give you an opportunity to plug that in and send it out for our review. And we get a consensus of the, being pleased with it.
Joe, if I could,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mr. Minor, sorry.
that's okay.
ahead.
No, I just wanted to see if there was a possibility of holding off until we can see finalized language. I'm a little uncomfortable with voting to send something to council without seeing a final draft to go. If he's
No,
saying.
no, that's what I'm saying. We would have to see this in advance of the actual turnover to the council. I just don't want to get involved where we don't make the date for the council because this doesn't get back for another whole meeting.
Well, our
Right.
next meeting is actually the 21st. That's our next regular schedule.
So we're in advance of the council is all I'm saying. I think we'd be all right
Yeah,
just to.
tomorrow night is the council's regular meeting, the first one for the month. We'd have our meeting in
I gotta say, I'm
between.
disappointed this is in front of us because it's been kicking around the revision for a while and now we're just getting it this evening. I thought that this was gonna be reviewed earlier than that. But okay, I'm fine with it, as long as we don't interfere with the ship date.
Yeah, we'll
I mean, I
ensure-
don't know how we live with the other piece. If I were a resident and I came in, that thing was an abomination. I don't know how, we're lucky no one was interested in an individual referendum thing because I don't think their lawyer could figure it out.
The process is quite
That
involved.
was absurd, just an absurd approach. Okay. 1 out of 100 is not bad.
Mr. Chairman, you're gonna make some revisions to the language and then meet again on the 21st. And then you'll have it to the council for our 28th.
Yeah, it'd be separate from the package, I guess, because the rest of the stuff is good to go.
Yeah.
That's what's upsetting to me, but.
Yeah, but that's fine. It works for, it doesn't move the timeline for us at all. If you hold your meeting on the 21st,
And
our
it's just to
agenda.
replug a language too, that's
Yeah.
how hard it can be. Okay.
One second.
Okay,
Mr.
you-
Minor has his hand raised. I'm not sure if it was from before.
Commissioner Minor?
No, just again, to clarify, so we're gonna hold off until the next meeting to just take these through as a whole. Am I correct in that?
Yeah, we're just replugging language. We
Okay,
did
can we,
on the building committee 100 times, where
Yeah.
we get a consensus after, but here we can't do it, so that's fine.
can we get it in advance of the meeting so we have time to digest it and review?
Definitely.
Thank you.
I can't do the 21st. I don't have to be here, but I can't be in here the 21st.
What would be a date you'd be available?
I'd have to look. Anybody got a calendar?
That's 2023.
22nd. Yeah, room on the 22nd.
Say the 22nd, we would still have to meet in this room because that would be the night of TPZ. They're on off, oh, hold on. Yeah, they're on off weeks this month.
Is there anybody that can't do the 22nd?
Not that I know of. It's okay.
Mr. Minor? Can you do the 22nd?
Yeah, that should be fine.
Okay, 22nd then.
22nd. That will ensure that we'll be able to add it into the packet that goes to the council on the 24th for the 28th meeting.
7 PM.
Can we do a 6:30 or no?
I can do it anytime you'd like.
Yeah, that's fine by me.
Sure, yep.
Okay, Mayor,
That's fine for me. Thank you.
6:30 it is.
6:30 on the 22nd. I'll make sure that we post the cancellation of the 21st and the rescheduling to the special
Okay.
meeting.
So we're not going to do any submissions tonight of the proposed charter amendment. Is that what you're saying?
Correct.
That's a shame, but. Okay, that's what it is. Public participation on the items. Yes, Rose, please.
Rose Lyons, 46 Elton Drive, and could you clarify for me whether or not there's other sections that have to be reviewed by the town attorney that have not yet been reviewed?
We looked at all the charge items from the council. But maybe I confused it. I want him to take a look at the entire body again before the council sees it.
So wouldn't
Just
it
to make
behoove
sure.
you to wait and see what he has to say along with whatever the town clerk has to do before you send it on? to
Well,
the-
I would be concerned about that, but he's already really looked at it. We haven't changed much, but for public edification, I want the council to know that it was looked at by council.
No disrespect to this committee, but the last, not the last one, but the first one I attended when there was charter revision that was denied, I sat with more than just myself, other people who had input during public hearings, and they didn't discuss anything that was said. You at least had the decency to say, was there any discussion about what was happening at the public hearing? And someone got up during public comment after that and said, it would have been nice if you had discussed what was talked about by the public and made sure that everything that you had concerns about was squared away before you brought it to the town council. It went from one night, the charter revision, to the next night to the town council. And I feel more comfortable as a member of the public, and probably the only one that really cares at this point, after being through 3 of these revisions, that you're going to take the time. It makes no difference. And the end date, are you aiming for election day? No, in November?
Well,
It's
that'd be up-
June. I don't
that'd be
know
up
what the
to the
timeline
council,
is.
yeah.
I just, I feel more comfortable, and I'm pleased to see that you're waiting, to be quite honest with you. That's it.
Thank you, Rose.
Nobody online.
Well, I'll tell you what, let's do this. Why don't, there's a concern about it. I'm all for considering concerns, believe me. Why don't you ask Ben Ancona to review the whole package, including the one you're changing? And then I think that would pretty much do what you're asking or suggesting.
Not just for myself.
No,
but,
I'm not,
you know,
no,
the
it's an
Monday
important
morning
part.
quarterbacks on Facebook are gonna
Yeah.
have
that's
something to
fine.
say.
I'm pleased to say to you, though, I don't think there's gonna be major, because the whole document got reviewed when they came
Well,
up
the
with the
thing
new
that bothers
book.
me, that same charter revision, one of the members of the commission went up in front of the town council and said they had concerns about the education circuit breaker because they didn't understand it. And one of the counselors turned to the mayor and said, let's put this to bed, and that was the end of it. I don't want to see that happen again. I don't want,
No,
there's-
but
there's- there wasn't
yeah.
Facebook back then. I hate somebody, that has a firestorm over something that can be avoided.
right.
Yep.
I would say this, the way the charges were written to us, we exactly went right to the charter. And I don't think the only substantial changes that we made, material changes, we got input on immediately before we did it. And that was like with Ms. Murphy from the finance director's office. We could have stepped into it deep on that personnel issue. That's why Kevin and others said, we better get the superintendent down here, which we did, and we got the town manager down here. So we kind of double checked, to go to your point, we double checked ourselves all along the way.
It's been very thorough. That's what I
This
appreciate.
thing was an atrocity in the charter. If you want to go cross-eyed, pull the charter up and read this section, because it'll do it for
And
you.
about the referendum, I've already gone over it with
Uh,
James many times.
But this was an atrocity, and the language got pulled up to correct it, included the wrong process on that. So it's a good find, and we appreciate the find. It's important to find the find.
Yeah.
Yep.
Fine. Good. All right. Okay, so public participation, did I mention public participation?
Yes. Few times.
I love the public. Nothing, right? Okay.
All done here.
Comments by commissioners?
Sure, I'll come in. Joe, the only comment I have is that, it is too bad that we couldn't have modified charter language to put this issue between the town and the Board of Education around personnel to bed finally, because it's really a shame that we've got, taxpayer dollars funding a feud between the Board of Education and the town, when the two sides should really be able to come together without legal intervention to come to agreement, instead of wasting everyone's time and tax dollars fighting this out. So if there was a way to fix that in the charter for the future, that would have been my preference, but that's it.
Thank you. I think we all share that, by the way. But if it's gonna play out, it's gonna play out. That's why they have hearing boards. We'll see what happens, right? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We stand adjourned. Thank you.